Let's learn how to compute for the number of electrons, protons, and neutrons in an atom. The center of the atom, called nucleus, contains neutrons and protons. Randomly moving around the nucleus in the energy levels are the electrons. Right now, we have a neutral atom since the number of electrons and protons are the same. Perhaps the easiest to identify is the number of protons since it is the same as the atomic number. We have here oxygen 16, and usually the mass number is written above and below is the atomic number. Sometimes they are written differently, but the smaller number is always the atomic number. The number of protons of oxygen is 8. For the number of neutrons, we subtract the atomic number from the mass number. So, we got 16 as the mass number minus the atomic number, which is 8, giving us 8 neutrons. For the number of electrons, we got the atomic number minus the charge of the atom. In our example, the atomic number is 8, and since we have a neutral atom right now, the charge is 0. So the number of electrons is 8. Now, what if 2 electrons were added here? So this atom is not a neutral atom anymore. Instead, it is now an ion because the number of protons and electrons are not the same anymore. So, our oxygen now has a charge of 2 minus because we added 2 electrons, and as we know, electrons are negatively charged particles. The mass number, by the way, is the sum of protons and neutrons of the atom. The number of protons here is still 8, and the number of neutrons is also 8. But the number of electrons now will be the atomic number, which is 8 minus the charge, which is negative 2, giving us 10 electrons. Before we look at sample problems, make sure that you understand the concepts of neutral atoms, ions, isotopes, atomic number, mass number, atomic mass, and atomic weight. Check the links in the description below for the lessons regarding those terms. Let's look at the first one. We have calcium 40. The number of protons will be 20 since the atomic number is 20. The number of electrons is 20 as well since it is a neutral atom. The number of neutrons will be the mass number minus the atomic number, which will be 20 neutrons. For the second one, there will be 17 protons. The number of electrons is the atomic number, which is 17, minus the charge, which is negative 1, so that would be 18 electrons. There will be 17 neutrons by subtracting the atomic number from the mass number. For the third one, the number of protons and electrons are 6, and they are the same since we have a neutral atom. The number of neutrons is also 6. Those are numbers 2 and 3. For the last one, an element with a charge of 2 positive has 18 electrons and 20 neutrons. What is the identity and the mass number of the element? Let's say we have element X with a charge of 2 positive. We know that the number of electrons can be computed by subtracting the charge from the atomic number. Since the number of electrons is given, which is 18, we can find the atomic number since the charge is also given. The atomic number will be 20, and we're gonna write it here. The number of neutrons is mass number minus the atomic number. The number of neutrons is given, and we already found the atomic number. So the mass number will be equal to 40. Therefore, our element right here is calcium based from the atomic number. And that's how we compute for the number of protons, electrons, and neutrons of an atom. See you again next time, and keep solving